Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, Ginger Snaps. Welcome back to my little corner of the universe. In this podcast, we do a lot of focusing on just what it's like to live life. Here we talk about life, advice, tips and tricks, just my journey, and just the journey of the people I know that are around me, friends, family, and loved ones. So with this podcast, feel free to come in, add any feedback in the comments about your journey, share your journey, share what you've gone through and all those types of things. So yeah, this podcast will be about mental health. And I am in no way an expert. So if you are having mental health challenges and everything, please seek professional help. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. I am just here sharing my personal journey and just kind of some of the things that I went through and what I did and where I am now. Where I was, where I am now, where I want to be. So yeah, with this podcast, we are always spreading love and light. Everyone is welcome, and I'm just really excited to get into it. This is a safe space for all of us. So if you're ever feeling like, oh, I don't know anybody who has gone through this, or I just cannot relate. And we hope to bring you in here, that everyone is welcome. And I know that one thing when I was really going through maybe a darker part of my mental health journey, just really having people there so that I felt a little less alone, and people that could identify and empathize with what I was going through. Not feel sorry for me, but could understand where I was coming from, what I was going through. So I hope that this podcast episode does this for you today. So before we get started, I want to just share a little bit about Jen, about me. Jen is, I know that I am perfect in everything. I know that I am amazing, chef's kiss, and that I have no problems. None at all, none. But, girl, I have all the problems. But I just want to share a little bit about my journey. So, funny enough that before this podcast, it actually took me quite a bit to film this episode, because during this episode we're going to talk just about different things, anxiety and some depression and imposter syndrome, stuff like that I have dealt with. And so it took me a little bit because I had to kind of work through my feelings and just, I don't want to say be comfortable, because I'm comfortable talking about it with people, but I just feel like, oh my gosh, I am struggling with so much still. How can I ever share? How can I, who can I help? I'm trying to help myself. I'm getting myself together. I'm trying to do A, B, and C. And I remember my mom told me, because I had this same conversation with my mom, when I started teaching. I said, I was like, when I first started, I'm like, Mom, I am 23 years old. These kids need a parent. They need a this and a that, and they need a counselor, and they need a motherly figure, and they need, I'm like, how am I supposed to be that person? And I still feel like a kid, a baby myself. What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, how am I supposed to help them? I'm still trying to, get myself together. And my mom was like, Jen, what if you can pick up somebody along the way while you're picking up yourself? And so that really, as I was, talking to my mom, that really motivated me. I love my mom. Mom, I know you're watching. I love you. And I love all my siblings too. They support me. I love my family. My family's very supportive. But just you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out to help somebody else along on their journey. That sharing your journey can help somebody else in their journey. So I just want to bring a little bit of that. So starting off with me, I'm going to go ahead and get this out here. I am a perfectionist. And so that has been some of the root of just the challenges I've had a struggle with. So like I said, I'm going to go just a little bit about my journey. So when I was in high school, and it's funny how everything always comes back to when you're a kid, when we're trying to heal all our inner childs, right? So I was in high school. You're a teenager. I don't care about this, I don't care about that. You're just really into your own thing, into your own world and stuff like that. And so that's kind of how I was. My first year of high school, cool. I was one of those kids that really I was really an academic achiever. I love school, love reading, love all of that kind of stuff. Always was great in school, always was fantastic in school. And so like when I got to high school, my freshman year, it was great. And then I got to my sophomore year and just kind of, it got a little mumble jumbled. It just kind of was just a lot to deal with. Then my mindset was different. I'm like, oh, high school, my first year I did great, so this is not gonna be a problem. So my sophomore year, I was very like, I just lost focus, I would say. And so I ended up having to go to summer school because I failed some classes. And after that, my junior and senior year were much more solid. I refocused myself. So when I applied for college, I realized that I got into a few colleges, but I got barely any scholarship money just because my academics were not there. And so because of that, I very much I felt really bad. I felt like I really messed up. And so I said, I swore to myself, I said, I am never gonna be in that position again. That from now on, I am going to be 100% focused. I'm going to go for the highest quality possible, and I am never going to let myself down like that again. Because when I failed those classes, I really let myself down because I didn't realize that failing those classes like that really impacted my GPA for the rest of my high school career, and that, oh snap, I can't really get any scholarship money, because you can get into school. Trust me. They always make a big deal about, oh, will I get in? And of course, like some schools, we're going to save that for another podcast, because I'm going to do a podcast about college. But it's about that money, honey. It's a business, and you got to get that cash to go to school to be able to afford it. And so when I didn't get in, I got in when I didn't get money to go to schools of choice, I went to community college. Like I said, that's going to be a whole nother podcast. Loved community college. It's great. Everyone should go. But I really just feel like I let myself down. So I told myself, I'm never going to let myself down like that again. I'm going to work as hard as possible. I'm not going to slack whatsoever. And I really meant that. And so through college, I had straight A's. I got like 1 B+. I had a 3.9. I have a 3.995 or something like that. So I got like a B+ or something. And I really achieved. But I realized, as I maybe got to my junior year, that's when I really started to realize, like, I'm a little like, how you get nervous before you do something, right? You get nervous and you get like a little excited and get a little shaky and stuff like that. I realized that I was a little bit more nervous than other people. I was a little bit more skeptical. I was a little bit more just on edge when it came to doing things. And so I noticed that. But I'm like, maybe it's fine. I'll just grow out of it, whatever. It's just, So I thought, because I'm a musician, I graduated with my music ed degree, music education, and piano was my primary instrument. I love piano. And I realized that when I would practice, I was fine. When I would play in front of my teacher, or when I played in front of my teacher, I was okay. But when I would play in front of my teacher and other people, or just other people in total, I would freeze up. I would forget the song. I would forget everything I've been practicing. I would draw a blank. I would just completely draw a blank. And I would just stop. I would just forget my music. And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, I'm not practicing enough. And that was a part of the problem. Okay, you need to practice more to have just muscle memory, just have it down, right? And so I did that, and that started to work. But I still realized I was really just crazy anxious about stuff. And so I started to come to the realization that this is not, I'm trying to find a word. I don't want to say not normal, but this is not just whatever. It's not just que sera. This is a little bit, I need to really pay attention to this, because this is impeding, this is interrupting my life and my functioning, right? So that's when I really started to notice. I did a senior recital, which is actually online. You can look it up. It's Ginger Edwards. Ginger Edwards. You can type in Ginger Edwards piano recital and you'll see my recital. I did accomplish. I got over that performance anxiety, which was nice. And so once I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Right? I got over my anxiety. I'm cool. But I was just nervous, yeah. So I got into teaching. And then I started realizing like that same scaredness was coming back. And my parents were like, well, it's new. You're dealing with kids. Kids got a lot of stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fine, right? But I don't know. I realized, especially my first year teaching, that I was crying every morning, every night, midday. Like I was really going through it. And of course you got that first year teaching. That's gonna be a whole nother podcast too about, so all my first year teachers out there, don't worry, I got a podcast for y'all too about all the things that I learned. But I realized that came up. And so I just started to get into this mindset that, okay, maybe I'm just taking so many risks. I'm just doing so many new things right now. And then during that time, we're just coming out of the world being completely shut down. Just things are starting to open up. Maybe it's just that I'm it's just a lot of stuff happening. So when a lot of stuff happens, I just have a lot of feelings about it, right? But every day you're crying 2-3 hours. Like I woke up in the morning to like exercise and work out and practice and do all these things. But I realized I was waking up in the morning just to cry. And then I realized I didn't want to get out of bed. Like I don't want to get out of my bed. Like I am dreading getting out of the bed to start the day. And like it was a lot. So then I'm thinking, maybe because I just have a stressful job, right? First year teacher. If you ask any first year teachers, like it's a stressful job. If you ask anybody who has taught, right? And so it's just kind of something you have to go through. But weekends, I'm crying and I'm stressed, right? And so it was really just kind of a lot. And I would say that's when I realized it was December of 2021. No, actually it was before then. But I realized that this is not just whatever. This is not just typical reactions to things. I'm really struggling. And I really, really, really started noticing it too when I was waking up in the middle of the night with night terrors. Like sweating, anxious. I would go to sleep and replay my entire day and analyze every single last mistake, everything I should have done differently, every reaction, every feeling. I analyzed it all at night, and so then I woke up the next day exhausted. Excuse me, I'm positioning myself. I woke up the next day exhausted, completely just out of my mind, exhausted. So I started drinking lots of coffee. I was getting 2 cups a day in the morning going to work. And I just realized like this is not it, bro. I'm crying 2 and 3 hours in the morning before I go to work. I'm going to work, and once I'm at work, like, you have your feelings, like I said. And then after work, I'm still anxious, and at night, I'm stressed. But see, the thing is, and I know it's like, well, it's a stressful job, but it was more than just about my job. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm a teacher, yeah, it's stressful, but it's more than just about my job. Because I don't want to be like, because it is stressful. It is. This year was excellent. This last year I had was excellent. So I feel like it was a combination of being a first year teacher, but it was also a combination of like, I had other stuff going on because I also had a lot of other things in my brain going on outside of my job, just like my own achievements, my own accomplishments I was stressing about. And then I was stressing about being stressed. I was thinking about fitness and finances, and I'm like, I'm not making enough. I'm gonna make more money, or I don't have enough money, and then I need a car, and then because I didn't have a car before I started working, then I need a car, and so I was always stressed, always worried, and I realized I was always sad. I would be like this, yes, good morning, but I was always sad. Always. And it was like, I had moments of happiness where I was like, oh man, I'm happy. But for the most part, like, I was sad for long periods of time, for days, weeks, months. There was a good, I'll be honest, like there was a good maybe 4 months, I was just sad. And so I ended up going to therapy. And it took me a long time to go to therapy just because of the misconceptions around therapy. And just because I had some people around me that was telling me that you don't need therapy. You can do it yourself. They're not going to help you. And I'm like, okay. So that was discouraging. But then I finally put my foot down and was like, I'm going to therapy because I need to go talk to a professional. If I'm crying every day, if I'm stressed, if I'm feeling all types of ways, like I need to talk to somebody, a professional that can help me, somebody that can tell me what's going on, because whatever is going on with me right now, I can't function like this. And so I realized that it was a disability when it impeded my day-to-day functioning. When I stopped eating or when I would eat too much, like big difference. I know we all, sometimes you don't eat, sometimes you do, we all have, fluctuations, but like I would either not eat and just drink coffee the whole day, or I would overeat and eat to the point of where I was so full, my stomach would hurt. Like I was emotionally eating, crying, panic attacks, so just all types of things. And it was so much. And so like, I sought help, and thank God that I did. Thank God that I went to therapy. My therapist was fantastic. I went through, I did online therapy, that I enjoyed. I did online, therapy with BetterHelp. And that was a pretty good experience with that therapist that I had there. She was fantastic. She was an older African American woman, and was just able to pass down wisdom and knowledge, and she's the reason why I figured out that I was a perfectionist, and that's a whole thing. So we got to talking, and I realized I was a perfectionist. That if I didn't have perfection, it's kind of like, if I didn't have everything in order, then I would fall apart. And it's funny because around that time I started doing therapy, I watched the Lele Pons video. She did a YouTube documentary. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it, about her having Tourette's and OCD, and she might also have anxiety and depression too. It was something like that in that wheelhouse, and she talked about that. And then I remember in one of her episodes, she talked with Howie Mandel, and he talked about his OCD. And I just realized that, like, I just had like a lot of realizations when I went to therapy about my perfectionism, about how it just stemmed to other things. So because I wanted everything to be so perfect, if something wasn't aligned, and it could literally be pencils, it could be hall passes. That's why I was like with teaching, right? My room, it could be the dust on the floor, and I was so overwhelmed, and so I wanted everything to be so perfect, in line, in order. I would do it 1,000 times repeatedly, and be in a cycle, and you know what I'm saying? And what was funny about that is whenever I say like funny, I don't never mean haha, I mean like interesting, right? So what was interesting about that was, it was also like a mental thing. I would run myself through a procedure over and over and over and over. I would run myself through it could be one mistake. I would run myself through that one mistake over and over and over. I would run myself through that one thing I said. Maybe I didn't, anything, right? Just an example. I didn't say bless you, or I might have, I don't know, just looked away at a person, and I'm like, did I interpret that wrong today? So I would drill my brain. I would just constantly, over and over and over again. And what I would do is I would fix it in my head 1,000 different ways, and I could not move on. I was stuck on that one situation, and I would fix it over and over and over again. Maybe I could have said this. Maybe I could have said that. Maybe I could have did this. Maybe I could have did that. And it was just really affecting me. It was really affecting me very badly. And so, like I said, I went to therapy, and with therapy, she was teaching me how to cope. And she was telling me, she was like, nothing is wrong with you. This is not bad. And I was like, oh no, I gotta find a new therapist because she's tripping, right? And she was like, no, nothing's wrong with striving for excellence. Nothing's wrong with wanting things to be top tier. You just have to be okay with them not being. And so I started journaling. Oh my gosh, when I say journaling has and continues to save my life. Love to journal. I started journaling and just writing stuff down. I should have got my journal. Actually, I might have my journal right here. Let me grab it. Sorry, guys. Look, quick ASMR moment. If you want me to do ASMR, let me know. But I started journaling. So I got this journal right here. This journal I got off Amazon. So that's when I started journaling. When I met my therapist, I would start just kind of writing things down. Just my feelings, how I felt about stuff. I write down quotes. Right? I write down goals. Make them cute. Which was really nice. I write down a plan. I kind of want to show because some of these stuff not done yet. Funny enough, I wrote this. Okay, so I wrote this last year in January. I said, start a podcast. Finally. But anyway, I started journaling. I also have an iPad where I started journaling on, but I started journaling. So journaling, I think that everybody should do it. Everybody should journal. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody should journal. When you journal, you get a chance to take everything that's in your mind and write it down on paper, digitally. I journal on my iPad a lot too, but just writing it down, typing it down if you need to. Getting it out of your brain, it helps you to understand yourself more. You're writing it, you're typing it, you're getting it down, and you're like, oh my goodness, these are my feelings. You start to recognize your feelings. You start to understand like what you are feeling. Because sometimes I feel anxious and I don't understand why. What am I feeling anxious about? But as I start writing, I'm like, right, I'm feeling anxious today, blah, blah. I'll write down what happened that day. Then I realized, like, I'm feeling anxious because I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. And I feel anxious because now I've prolonged it and I procrastinated and now it's sitting in the back of my mind. And so journaling has been just so revolutionary for me. You just really get your thoughts down on paper. It helps you to understand your feelings, what you're feeling, why you're feeling them, and all that kind of stuff. And when I feel overwhelmed, I start typing or I write real fast. And it's also an energy release. Because think about it. You are like upset or you're anxious or whatever. Get you a pencil, go to town. Like get you a pen, marker. I didn't have highlighters that I didn't just went to town. Like just go in. I have sticky notes. I'm a sticky note girl. I have sticky notes over here on my computer. Sticky note girl forever. Just write down thoughts. Type it in your phone. You can journal anywhere, wherever you want to. And yeah. I have written things down, ripped it up and threw it away just to make me feel good. I've written things down and kept them. With journaling, what I will say is that you could go back and you can understand yourself from the past too. So if I have some feelings and I'll go back and look at my journals. And when I go back too, I also feel proud because I'm like, dang, 2 years ago I used to have panic attacks and I'm good now. Like I don't have them anymore as frequent. Like I haven't had one in a long time. Or like, I used to wake up every night 5 times. Right, because I would journal all those times I would wake up. But now I only wake up 2. Which is, let me tell you, I could cry about that. I could. I used to wake up on the hour. Now, y'all, maybe once or twice. Like, and I still feel anxious at night, but I wake up, but like now I have like coping mechanisms. I wake up and I journal. And I'm cool. So journaling is definitely big. Let me tell you something else. White noise. If you have an AC, I realized that I would sleep well when my AC was on. And when it would turn off, I would wake up. And then when my AC would come back on, I would go back to sleep. I love that white noise. And so when I say I searched forever to find the white noise that sound like my AC. I just found it, y'all. Like, I'd be knocked out. Let me tell you. It's on Spotify. If you want my Spotify sleeping playlist, let me know. I have smooth jazz, lo-fi hip hop. It just depends on what mood I'm in, but what I've been rocking with lately is there is a podcast on Spotify that's just like white noise, just ocean noise, just fan noise. I found a deep, I like a deep resonance. So you have like a type of AC, like a shh. I like a low deep noise, white noise, and so that helps me get to sleep. I play it on my phone, iPad. You play it on a device, and they're 8 hours long. Play that mug and loop it. Like, click if you sleep more than 8 hours, play it. Click the little loop button till you got the one at the bottom, or it just loops that one thing. You good to go. So journaling, white noise has been helpful. Also, too, I am spiritual. Talking to God, talking to my Creator. Like, I was anxious, and so this podcast will be full transparency. So you guys know, like, I am not one to beat around the bush. I talk a lot, hence the podcast, but I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm very blunt. Last night I was talking to Jesus. I was sleeping, and I was really having a rough time. I was tossing back and forth a little bit last night, and so I just started talking to my Creator. I said, Lord, I'm tired. Lord, I'm anxious. Lord, I'm this, I'm that. Like, talk to him. That I've been reading my Bible. I am on like day 170 or something to read my Bible in a year. This is my first time reading my full Bible in a year, which has been really nice. Following this Bible in a year plan. That's nice. Yoga, working out, has been lovely. So doing that, like moving your body, since we're talking about yoga and working out, moving your body is so helpful to releasing the extra anxious energy. I woke up this morning and did a Pilates core workout because I'm trying to tighten up that core down here. But I did a Pilates core workout, and that was so lovely for me. I really dig it. I dig it, y'all. Like, and I'm tired because she kicked my butt today. I was like this. I was sweating. I had my bonnet on. Bonnet was to the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a little tank top falling off of me. She kicked my butt. And guess how long it was? 10 minutes. I mean, an hour. No, y'all, I'm just playing. She kicked my butt in 10 minutes, and I was like, oh God, I'm out of shape. But that has helped me to release like some anxious energy because you're moving. Oh my gosh, get outside. When I'm feeling like anxious and trapped, I go outside, and like I'll drive to the park, roll my windows down. I will just walk outside and just feel the breeze. And you know what? I have such an appreciation for rain. People are like, oh, it's raining. It's raining outside. Oh my gosh. It's raining. Oh, I'm gonna melt. I'd be like, it was raining yesterday. I walked outside. I was like, yes, it's rain on me. I'd rather be dry, but at least some. That's my jam. But that's nice, getting outside, enjoying the weather, whether it's raining, sleeting, snowing, any of that. Those have been really helpful. And what I will say, and so here, this is something that's hard too. So like I said, all those things, they're really helpful. But one thing that's going to really help you, that helped me, I know, and can definitely help you, self-forgiveness. You have to learn how to forgive yourself. So like going back to that, me being a perfectionist and it making me anxious, and because I was anxious, it started making me depressed and I started feeling some type of way. But you have to forgive yourself. We always talk about forgiveness. Like we always talk about forgiveness as if we have to forgive other people. But I want to know, like, are you forgiving yourself? It took me a long time to forgive myself. Not because I had did anything that was incredibly terrible, but because I make mistakes and I'm human. And just remember, I can't remember where this quote was from, but it says that you're not a mistake. You just make mistakes. You're human. And I had to tell myself, I'm not a mistake. I just make mistakes because I am human. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to do the wrong thing. Sometimes you won't take the risk. Sometimes you will. You'll slip and fall. And none of those things, making those mistakes are so important. Oh my gosh, making mistakes are so important. It's you have to. And with me being I want everything to be perfect. I didn't want to make a mistake. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to look stupid, right? I don't want people to judge me. People are going to judge you whether you make mistakes or not. If you're perfect, look at her perfect self. Never does anything wrong. I scoff at her perfection. People are going to talk about you anyway. So forget what they got to say, right? If they don't have no positive, uplifting stuff to say to you, right? Or like some good constructive criticism, don't listen to them, right? If they're not saying out of love, don't listen to them. But like making mistakes is a part of the process. You have to be okay with making mistakes. You have to be okay with things falling apart. Everything is not gonna go as planned, and that is okay. Things are unexpected, and that is okay. That is the beauty of it all. And I used to be like, no, the beauty, no, it would be beautiful if it was perfect. I want perfect, right? And I still get into those moods, but like the beauty of like lifing, I get mad too. 'Cause I'm like, this is a bunch of shenanigans and bull, and I'd be upset. But but it's really nice when life just does its thing, and it just, and you can it's really beautiful when you really become like resilient and you start actually like accepting life for what it is and just letting it do its thing and just being adapting. And I had to learn how to adapt, and I had to learn how to let go of my expectations. Yeah, I'm going to shoot for the moon. And this is a quote. It was on my elementary school wall. It was, when I was in elementary school, it was on the wall in my classroom. It says, shoot for the moon. And even if you don't land there, even if you don't make it, you'll land amongst the stars. And so I love that. So I'm much more positive now about it. Like, yeah, I'm still a perfectionist in ways where I want things to be just order, bam, bam, bam. But I've also learned how to let go a lot more. These past 2 years, I've learned how to let go so much. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You cannot hold on to everything or everyone. Things are going to slip through the cracks, and that is okay because you are a person, not a machine. And I especially in the past, often run myself as a machine. I'm going to do this in my schedule. And I would freak out because I'm very particular about my Google Calendar. At 8:30, I'm going to do this. At 8:35, I'm going to do this. At 9, I'm going to do this. And then 10:35 is going to be like this. I'm going to spend an hour, 55 minutes and 20 seconds. Like I was really, when I say timing it, timer. I had a timer and an alarm, and it would go off right on time. And then I was like, I got so particular about it that if I was a minute behind, if I wanted to start at 9 and it was 9:01 and I wanted to start at 9, I would lose it. And I realized, like, you can't keep doing this to yourself. So yeah, so that definitely, and I worked through that with my therapist too, where she was like, it's okay if it's not exactly on time. It's okay if you fall behind a little bit, because it's not always about it being on time. It's about you showing up. You have to show up whether you're on time or not. And when I say on time, like, we have this expectation of when something's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. If you show up and no matter how it turned out, you still kept going, you still continue to show up every day, you are not a failure. You are succeeding. The point is, just show up for yourself every day. Show up for yourself. Do the best you can. God will handle the rest. Okay? Like, just show up for yourself. And just be present and live in the moment. And all these things, they sound cliche, right? Oh, be present, live in the moment. You really have to, because this time is not waiting for anyone. Time is not going to wait for you while you stress out about things you can't control. Time is not going to be like, oh, Pookie, you having a rough time right now. It's okay. I'm going to pause for you. It's not going to do that, right? So you have to really enjoy this moment here and now, and just right now, and be present. For my people, and like I said, I am not a licensed professional counselor or therapist. I'm just telling things that work for me. And this is actually something I learned from school. We brought the kids in into the gym when I was during the school year, and they had some like mental health professional people, like an organization, come and talk to the kids, and they were teaching the kids how to do breathing techniques and mindset stuff and mindfulness, and like it helped me. It really helped me out. Isn't that funny? Like, my stressful teaching job of my first year was stressful as all outdoors, and like it has been one of the biggest helps with my anxiety in the past, like these past 2 years. It's like been one of the biggest things that has pushed me out of my comfort zone, made me cry, made me work it out, made me figure out how to deal with stress. Like, it's really been helpful. One thing I learned: if you're ever stressed, you're ever having a rough time, pull out your hand, write 5 fingers, and what you do is, it's a breathing exercise. It's a visual reminder of how to breathe, because sometimes we'll hyperventilate. So pull out your 5 hands, you get your finger, and you go up, breathe out. As you go up your finger, you take deep breaths in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Another thing, I actually ended up combining this technique with a yoga breathing that I did. It's called the warrior breath. So what you do is, when you breathe in, right, we're going to do the same breath up through your nose. When you breathe out, you don't breathe out through your mouth. You still breathe out through your nose, but you make a noise. So like, it's like a combination of this 5-finger technique with like a yogic breath. So one more. And it sounds like you're like, right? But that's the point. It helps you release the energy. And then you go back. And then you want to go through the other hand and reverse, right? Do that for a good few minutes or whatever. Take time to go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. Do that, and that will definitely help you out. I know it has really helped me out and really made a difference. It really made a difference with just how I like just when I needed a stress reliever in that moment. So those breathing exercises, something that I didn't know, but my boyfriend actually, he did something one day. I was stressed and we were together, and he was like this. I was starting to calm down. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, you're stressed. He was comforting me. He was scratching the palm of my hands. How good that sounds. Let me tell y'all, I could fall asleep. Scratch the palm of your hands next time you're stressed. Scratch it. Scratch the palm of your hands. Another thing is massage. Massage your palms. Massage your palms. Like, massage your palm of your hands. Squeeze your fingers. Like, you just be surprised, because what I learned about anxiety, right, was that it was different than stress. And so when I used to be stressed, mental, I'd be like, like I would be, I just popped my finger from squeezing it. I would be stressed, and I'm like, but when I realized that there was a difference with anxiety, because my body, there were changes in my body, changes in blood pressure, changes in temperature, you know what I mean? My eye would twitch, and so it's definitely a physical response to things, right? Your body's in a fight or flight. Your body's like, right, it's tensing up. It's in a fight or flight mode. So, definitely do some of those techniques. Another thing, and I'm doing a little bit right now. My shoulders have been like this. Have you guys noticed? Like, I'm tensing. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. So just some of those physical things you can think about when you're like in the moment, in the heat. And it's you have to train yourself, because I definitely have freaked out, and then and realized I could have used so many techniques, but definitely use those techniques. And what I will say when it comes, another thing with your, like with mental health things, is that not all, I feel like it's not negative, right? That it's a part of you and that you have to accept it, but you can improve and be better. So like me having anxiety, I used to think someone was wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with us, right? We just, might need a little extra help, extra strength in some areas. And you need to get that professional help as need be and all those kind of things. But I realized, like, how can I positively use this? You know what I'm saying? How can I use this to strengthen myself? So what I learned is that I'm like, I want things to be perfect and excellent and all those kind of things. But guess what? I realized I put really good, high quality workout, right? Like, I feel like at my job, I'm doing well. I feel like when it comes to other things, I'm doing well because I am so focused on quality of things, that it pushes me to get better as quick as possible. I might not start off great, but I push myself to be the best that I can. And because I'm pushing myself to be the best that I can, then even if I didn't reach that 100% that I wanted, I know that at all times I am giving my best, so it's not bad. And also too, it's okay to, like I said, to let go. It's okay to, and you just have to embrace it. You just really have to embrace it. I have so many thoughts about it, but you really just have to embrace it. Like today, I embraced. That's my tummy making noise. I have just no polish on this nail. Oh, and let me tell you, I was gonna record this yesterday. No polish on this nail. Oh my gosh, I have no polish. How am I supposed to, I don't want this one shipping and right. Keep in mind, I've never been really a nail person because I've always had to have short nails because I play the piano. I'm a musician. But I just freaking out about it. Right. Look, I came to the podcast with undone nails and one off and, just lips. No, let me tell you, I watched my last podcast. I was like, dang, I had a lip gloss on. Still. We're going to lick them and keep going. Anyway, with all that being said, because I'm a rambler too, with all that being said, you can do it. You just have to remember that. You have to believe in yourself that you can do it. Like, if you are struggling and it is hard right now and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm just having such a hard time. I'm just really struggling. How can I ever make it out of this? Remember this, that there's no such thing as failure because you cannot fail until you give up. That's when you fail, is when you give up. If you're not giving up, you're not failing and you're not a failure. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, but mistakes make you stronger. And I just want to share this story. I'm a gamer, right? With being a gamer, I actually have a channel. It's called Ginger Gaming. I just released my gaming streams and stuff on there if you want to go check that channel out. But with my with gaming, I was playing Fortnite yesterday. And my boyfriend and I were playing Fortnite yesterday. And we were playing duos. Oh my gosh. They were handing us our butts. They were just left and right. We were getting killed and we were just losing the game. We was frustrated and mad because we were like, why are these people trying hard? You don't get paid enough, bro, to do all this hard trying in these video games. We were just upset. But then we started communicating better. We started moving different. We started really paying attention to the arsenal we had. We started really just being a team. And the more games we lost, the better we got. Isn't that funny? If we would have won all those games, we would have learned nothing. We're doing great, as we are. The more games we lost in Fortnite, the better we got. And we started winning games. And then we started losing streak again. Fighting harder, people. And then we started winning more games. And we would get closer every time. And every time we would get close, maybe we would die as the 10th team, like the top 10. We would do something different. Top 9, do something different. Top 5 now. 2, then we win a game. So as you make mistakes, remember that you're also those mistakes really teach you. And But with all that being said, I would say the biggest advice that I can give, the biggest thing I want to share is like, you have to find coping mechanisms, healthy ones, and working yourself little by little. Journaling, talking to a therapist, a specialist, getting, professional help. Tapping into your spirituality, getting outside, having support, family, friends, whoever, loved ones that support you, that you can go to, that has your back. That's super important. And then just constantly just being better, just growing and developing and setting attainable goals. I woke up five times last night. I'm gonna, use this coping mechanism when I wake up in the middle of the night to put myself back to sleep. So just really being patient with yourself, taking time, taking space, be forgiving with yourself. Understand that you are. Okay, chair interrupting my podcast. Just remember that you are human. And that is the beautiful thing about you, that you are human and you're not perfect and you're not a machine and you're not a robot, and you have feelings and emotions, and feel those feelings. Go through those emotions. Recognize them for what they are. Heal from them. One step at a time, one day at a time. Balance. Just balance. Be calm, be cool, be collected. When you get riled up, that is okay. You just bring it back down and try again. And that's really all that I have for you. This is kind of how I manage. If you would like to ask me any questions, my Instagram will be in the description below. I have my Instagram, my Twitch links. You can put in the comments if you have, any questions. But one thing I would love if everybody can share their journey, or share a piece of their journey, share what you're comfortable with. And this can just be a space where we're all like, oh, I understand, or oh, I went through this, or here's some things that helped me, because I've only listed just a little portion of things that you can really do. But if you know things that can help people sleep better at night, like when they're anxious, or breathing techniques, or mindfulness things, or whatever, please share it. This is a community where we're going to share, we're going to get better together, because it's hard out in these streets. It's ghetto out here in these streets. And it's a challenge. So please leave your feedback, share with others, embrace others, love yourself. And this has been the podcast Ginger Snaps. I love all of you, and I will see you guys next time. Love you. You see my 2 snaps for Ginger Snap? Bye. Stop chasing money. Upward mobility, feel like I'm constantly fighting my sanity, cause I'm my strict routine trying to get out of screen. Capital is a thing, feeling like a machine trying to get out of steam. Upward mobility, feel like I'm constantly fighting my sanity, cause I'm my strict routine trying to get out of screen. Capital is a thing, feeling like a machine trying to get out of